Pleasant good morning, everybody, from Shout Stadium in Dunmore, Pennsylvania. We've got baseball for you on SFBN as we are set for the Baseball U Showcase. Our first game today will be Tellip versus Mazzo. We'll get you the starting lineup for the visiting team, Mazzo, here. Leading off is going to be Vincent Prieto. Batting second is... Batting second is somebody I can't read, Brady Trevelyan, because I can't read my own handwriting. The first pitch on the way to Prieto is lined out towards the right side. Up with it is Schmalzley. Flips on to first, and a dive at first base. And the batter, Prieto, is out 4-3 for the first out of the inning. Chris, we've got an interesting start to today's game.
Yeah, a nice little dive there by Prieto. Looked like he got a better piece of it off the bat, but the ball died out in the turf in the infield.
We'll bring up Brody Trevelyan. First pitch to him is up and in for a ball, 1-0. Finishing out that lineup, Trevelyan, Gottschalk, Mitrovic, Colin Williams, Sam Lebrecht, Patrick McAllister as the wind, and Matt Martin's 1-0 is upstairs for a ball, 2-0, both fastballs. Will Bruner, Evan Hill, and Ryan Kimball. Ishan Hardaway is the lineup for Mazzo. The next one is a high bounder out towards second. Charging once again is Schmalzley. His throw to first is in time. 2 up, 2 down, and that's a good sign of a good sinking action on a fastball there from the pitcher, Matt Martin. We'll get you the defense for Tellip in just a moment. But good sinking action on that fastball there, and it's a good sign of it that he's gotten both a right-hander and a left-hander to be able to pound the ball into the ground towards the same side. The first pitch on the way to Gottschalk, fastball up and away for a ball, 1-0.
Yeah, back-to-back 4-3 groundouts, and Schmalzley having his glove ready. He's been very active early on, both plays coming right at him.
The wind and the 1-0. Fastball upstairs, 2-0. So what you're going to see today is you're going to have 5 batters or 3 outs. If Gottschalk were to make an out here, inning is over. The 2-0. Fouled straight back, went after one a little bit high. 2-1, the count to Gottschalk. Base is empty and 2 down in the top half of the first inning. 5 batter limit in the innings as the 2-1 inside.
And did that clip him on the hand?
I thought it did, either on the hand or on the forearm.
And so it did clip him, so it's a reset, so the strike remains, but the count resets to an 0-1 count.
So it's an 0-1, but now can only be fastballs the rest of the way, and now the count officially 0-2 on Cale Gottschalk. Into the line, Martin with the next one, fastball away. It remains 0-2 according to our umpire, the 0-2. Fastball down and away again.
Now, you'd think that for a lot of pitchers that only fastball is a disadvantage, but there are some pitchers at this level, Chad, who have great two-seam run on their fastball, and that is an advantage for them because the ball moves so much.
The next one is high and away. Well, and another thing is, in a showcase like this, and it is now 3-2 the count, as we have gotten the count back even, as the 3-2. Called strike 3, locked him up on the inside corner, and the inning comes to a close. No runs, no hits, no errors, and nobody left on base. Half an inning in the books. Mazzo nothing. Tellip coming to bat on SFBN. Bottom half of the first inning here from Shout Stadium in Dunmore, Pennsylvania. Chad Cooper alongside Chris Markowitz. So we head to the bottom of the first inning. Let's take a look at the Tellip lineup, and leading things off will be the second baseman TJ Schmalzley. Batting second is the shortstop Michael Rickard. Hitting third, the center fielder Ryan Collins, with Maybrit Levant, the third baseman, batting cleanup. In the 5 spot is the designated hitter Kyle Serene. Peyton Johnson in left field bats sixth. Hitting 7th is the right fielder Jacob Baltrasitis. In the 8th spot is the catcher Gavin Lacoe, batting 9th is Cody Serene, and on the mound is going to be Matt Martin. So leading things off is going to be TJ Schmalzley. Schmalzley made a couple of very nice plays in that first inning. Correction, Colin Williams, not. The first pitch to Schmalzley is a fastball up and away, 1-0. Matt Martin, the pitcher for Tellip. We know the battery for Mazzo, but the defense is going to rotate somewhat on an inning-by-inning basis, as the 1-0 is a good fastball that clips the inside corner, breaking back over the middle of the plate for a strike, 1-1.
And that was right down at the knees as well. You want to start off getting on top of your fastballs, making sure you're in the bottom half of the zone.
The wind. And the 1-1. Fastball up and away, 2-1. You know, one of the things that we were talking about last inning about getting to that situation when the count resets and you're at 0-2 is going to be that you have to only throw fastballs. A lot of the time, that is what a scout is going to want to see, and we'll get back to that in a second, is the 2-1 offering. Good fastball on the inside corner for a strike, 2-2. For all we hear about great breaking balls, great sliders, great curveballs, great changeups, at the end of the day, you're going to throw your fastball more than anything else. Whether it's a 2 or a 4-seamer, you're going to throw your fastball more than anything else, and you're going to have to throw it X percentage of the time in college or in the minor leagues. The wind and the 2-2. A little hitch in the step there as the ball was fouled straight back. 2-2 the count holds to Schmalzley, leading off the bottom of the first inning of a scoreless game. But you need to be able to show that you can spot and put your fastball exactly where you want it on command. The wind and the 2-2 is a ground ball out towards third. Throw on to first is high. Gets by the bag, but hits the fence and stays in play. I think that'll wind up being a single for Schmalzley.
Yeah, hit a little too softly for the third baseman to make a clean transition and get it across the diamond in time. It was a nice off-speed pitch offered up by Williams. He took something off of it, got Schmalzley to roll over it. That's the exact sequence you want in a 2-strike count on the mound, but unfortunately it was hit to a great spot in the infield.
Now working from the stretch, it'll be Michael Rickard, the batter. The first on the way to Rickard is up and away for a ball, 1-0, and that's Patrick McAllister out at third base. And I think one of the things he needed to do in that situation, I thought he needed to come in on it. It was a little bit too much of a bounding ball, and I understand not necessarily charging it and potentially playing it into a short hop. The next one is lifted foul up over the top, 1-1, but that's a play that as you get a little bit older, as you start to mature in your game a little bit, you're going to start to come in on a ball like that. Try to get it on that first big hop instead of waiting for the second hop to come to you. Throw over to first, and Schmalzley back in safely.
Yeah, to that point, Chad, it's all a matter of confidence. Do you have the confidence to charge full speed in from the third base side, to have that glove transition to make the throw in time?
Well, especially when you're playing back with 2 strikes. You're not expecting a bunt in that situation. As a long hold here by Colin Williams, and now the 1-1 is smacked. Nice backhand play by the shortstop. Throw to second is dropped. It was a great backhand play by Will Bruner out at shortstop. The throw was a little bit low. Did throw it from a knee, but again, give Bruner credit for keeping that one on the infield, but now 2 on and nobody out in this first inning.
Yeah, I think Bruner was trying to rush it for the double play. Didn't realize how much time he had to get that lead runner at second base.
So that'll bring up Ryan Collins, the center fielder. Williams' first pitch to him, cut on and missed for a strike. I think in 1 the count to Ryan Collins.
That's a tough pitch to hit down and in at the knees. A nice fastball with some two-seam run as a left-hander coming back over the plate.
This time is called right before the pitch is delivered, and honestly, that is one of the toughest pitches for a right-hander to hit. You know, you oftentimes talk about maybe a back foot slider. You don't necessarily expect that two-seamer to run back in over the inside corner. The runner goes from second. Throw to third is not in time. Schmalzli with a massive jump steals third, and then trailing on the play, Rickert will take second.
Schmalzli able to get that jump because Williams did not mix in his looks there, right? He used the same delivery, same amount of looks both offerings, so Schmalzli got the jump.
So runners on second and third with nobody out. The 1-1 swung on and missed for a strike. Now, what I have liked about Williams in this pitch sequence, he started off with that two-seamer that kind of ran back over the inside corner of the plate. Collins up there was probably looking, okay, this is coming dead set, middle of the plate, knee high, I got this. Takes the pitch, but then comes back up with an elevated fastball, changing the sight line of the hitter. The 1-2 went up a little bit too high and away. 2 balls, 2 strikes. To Collins.
But to your point, now that sets up the bottom half of the zone with that nice little two-seam run on that fastball, some sinking action, maybe get a ground ball here, get an out to one of the corners of the infield.
Either that or maybe a changeup to just because everything's been fastball so far. The next one inside for a ball. It gets through the catcher, but ticked off his glove, and the backstop close enough. No chance for Schmalzli to advance. Count goes to 3-2 on Collins. Notice that earlier that Williams did when he got to 2 strikes on Schmalzli. He never got to 2 strikes on Rickert. When he got to 2 strikes on Schmalzli, kind of hung in the air and held with a little hitch in the delivery. See if he does it again here. Not quite the same as the next one. A curveball swung on and missed, strike 3. Beauty of a pitch there by Williams for the first out of the inning, and that'll bring up Mabrit Levant.
And he had to go to the curveball there because if he threw another pitch and it wasn't swung at, it's a 3-2 count. You get behind, it's a reset. You don't walk the batter, but you lose the ability to throw off-speed pitches.
As Levant digs in. Second and third with 1 out as the first pitch is a fastball upstairs, 1-0. Want to know the count to Levant? Williams stretches. There's that hitch and hesitation as the next one is fouled back. 1-1 the count, and you wonder if with that hesitation he might not even necessarily realizing he's doing it, but next time he has that hesitation, you need to see what pitch he throws in that situation. That's something the coaching staff might want to work with him on, because that's something that as you get to higher levels, batters are going to recognize, okay, he's hitching there, this particular pitch is coming.
Maybe he's watching some Johnny Cueto, though. You never know.
Smooth delivery that time, and he drops one in low. 2-1 the count to Mabrit Levant. Schmalzli on third, Rickert on second, 1 out. Again, 5 batters or 3 outs is the inning. So let's say there's 2 more singles, 2 runs score. That's the end of the inning. The 2-1. Good off-speed pitch. Clips the outside corner for a strike. 2 balls, 2 strikes the count to Levant. Kyle Serene, the DH, waiting on deck.
Levant, a solid hitter. I know he's behind in the count, but had a chance to see him a couple weeks back in a showcase out in East Stroudsburg. He had a couple solid base knocks.
Slightly open stance from the right side. See if he goes back to that curveball here. Fastball, and that is raked out into center field, deep enough to score the run, as tagging and coming in is Schmalzli. It's a sacrifice fly for Levant. And it is 1-0 Tellip.
And that's perfect 2-strike hitting, as Levant got a pitch lower half of the plate, but he was still able to get down there, elevate it to the outfield, and he has a speedy runner, got it far enough into center for the run to come home.
We're going to call that an unearned run, and we'll explain why in a moment. Kyle Serene digs in. First pitch to Serene is off the fists into foul territory, first base side. And the out is recorded for the final out of the inning. The reason that we're going with that one being unearned is that Schmalzli should have been out at second base on the ball that was hit by Rickert. That wound up being a fielder's choice, but the E4 being charged on that play, he should have been erased. Thus, unearned run, inning over, 1-0 Tellip. We go to the second on SFBN. Top half of the second inning, it'll be Mitrovic, Williams, and Lebrec set to hit against Matt Martin. 1-0, Tellip on top. Mitrovic, 6'2", 175, a 2022 grad for Pennsbury High School. From the windup, the first on the way to the right-handed batter is cut on and missed for a strike. 0-1 the count. You know, I've been very impressed early on. Matt Martin is not the biggest guy out there. 5'8", 160, Holy Redeemer High School. He does not show any fear out there on the mound. The next one is a breaking ball that bounces up. 1-1 the count.
He's got good command of his fastball. It's got some deceptive speed. It's a heavy fastball. And then that curveball to mix in as well with good drop at the end makes him tough to hit with those two pitch sequences.
The 1-1. Fastball upstairs, 2-1. And, you know, that's a really good point. And the first two batters of the game really demonstrated what you were talking about there with that heavy fastball, is that all they could do, one from the left side, one from the right side, different spots in the zone where those pitches were thrown. As the 2-1 is a breaking ball that's smacked out into center field. Coming over and making the catch is Collins for the first out of the inning. 1 down, and that'll bring up Colin Williams. But getting back to that point, both of those hitters just pounded the ball right into the turf. You know, so again, it's that heavy fastball, you know, and I guess the best, and you know, if you can be compared to, you know, any particular major leaguer, is the first on the way is a fastball upstairs for a ball. 1-0. When I think of a heavy fastball coming out of a major league pitcher, I think Derek Lowe. You know, and that might be dating me a little bit right now. The next one is golfed off to the left side, 1-1 the count. But he always had that really, you know, he rarely threw a four-seamer, but he had that really heavy sinker that, you know, if you elevated that ball, all you were going to do was pop it up. It's almost like almost like the ball was wet when he threw it, and you were just smacking that down. As the next one is low, 2-1.
A name that comes to mind for me as a Yankee fan growing up was Ching-Ming Wong. I know he got hurt his knee, but for 3 or 4 years, had one of the best sinkers in baseball history. Was a 19-game winner a couple years. Never threw high 90s, but just such great movement late on that. A lot of double plays, a lot of ground outs. Everybody's so fascinated with the speed of a pitch. It's the movement and the location.
Mm-hmm. 3-1 the count. The 3-1 is an off-speed pitch fouled straight back, and the count full at 3-2. And that's something else. Going back to Martin, as we have the bases empty and 1 out in the top of the second inning, 1-0 Tellip. Going back to Matt Martin, he's got those two pitches. He's got that curveball. He's got that fastball. He's not afraid to throw either of them in any situation. The 3-2. It's a fastball up high, so the count's going to reset to 0-2 here.
See, that's an interesting decision by Martin, going with the fastball, missing in the 3-2. Now he has only fastballs from here on out.
The next one is skied out into right center field. Coming over is the center fielder Collins, and he will put it away for the second out of the inning. And, you know, that's that makes a lot of sense what you're saying there, that was the last opportunity on that 3-2 where he could have thrown a breaking ball. That's also the confidence that he has got in his fastball to be able to say, okay, I'm going to throw this no matter what. So it'll bring up Sam LeBrec. Base is empty, 2 down. The first on the way to LeBrec is over for a strike. 0-1.
And it's also a matter of mind games. As a pitcher, you know the hitter's thinking maybe he's going to go 3-2 breaking ball because it's his last opportunity.
The next one is sliced, just foul down the first base line. Good job of inside-out hitting there by LeBrec, even though he's in an 0-2 count. Took that fastball that ran in on the inner half off the hands and just pulled the hands back enough to slice it down the right field line.
Yeah, it looked like he just missed the barrel. If he gets a solid piece of contact on that one, that's a double down the line. But to your point, kept his hands inside to kind of shove it down that right field line.
And he's one of the younger guys on this roster. The next one is an off-speed pitch down and away 1-2. He's a 2023 grad, so you're looking at somebody who's entering his sophomore year of high school. He's got the height. He's 6 feet tall. The 1-2 is taken out into left field. Coming on is Peyton Johnson, and he'll make the catch for the final out of the inning. Just want to finish out here on that point about LeBrec. He's 6 foot 140, but again, he's the youngest guy on this roster. He's the only 2023 player on this Mazzo roster, and when you look at that, you figure as he starts to fill out, he's got projectables for gap-to-gap power and maybe corner over the fence power when you look at somebody who has that sort of a body build as a sophomore. There are a lot of nice things that you can see out of Sam LeBrec going forward.
Well, you saw on that fly out to left field there. I know it's a fly out, but it's a 2-strike count. Just puts the barrel on it, is able to lift it to the outfield. If he adds 30 to 40 pounds over the next 2 years, which isn't necessarily out of the question in high school for a lot of these kids, if they put in the time in the weight room, you're talking about a kid, to your point, at that height, with that length, who could really extend and get the ball out of the ballpark.
Well, and he's somebody who might not be done growing either. 6 feet tall as a sophomore in high school, you could project him to be 6'2", 180, 190 down the road. As a third baseman, that's going to be somebody that is very enticing to college scouts.
100%. He could be a third baseman. You could also put him at the other corner at first base. He has a lot of options if he develops his skills in the infield at those corner spots. Adds a little muscle to that frame, and yeah, to your point, baseball body, a nice swing. He's a kid that you could see having a lot of success at the higher level.
Again, and a lot of what you're looking for in a showcase like this is projectability. What does this player have the opportunity to do at the next level? Where can he go? What can he be? It's kind of like what you see in the minor leagues, where you look at the pro scouts and they are looking, okay, he's this now, but as I'm looking at him, what can he be going forward? So it'll be Peyton Johnson to lead things off here in the bottom of the second inning, 1-0, Tellip on top. Williams into the wind, and the first on the way to Peyton Johnson. Fastball inside corner for a strike at the knees, 0-1 the count to Johnson. It'll be Johnson, Baltricitis, and Laco scheduled to hit. The windup. And the 0-1. And I think, and again, this and it's found back, and again, this is going back to what we talked about earlier. It's that two-seamer. Every time. And again, don't want to necessarily say it too loudly because we're maybe 15 feet from the batter. So don't want to talk about, and we'll wait till afterwards. The next one, cut on and miss, strike 3. The tag applied by Gottschalk for the first out of the inning. Every time he throws that two-seamer, and maybe we can see it one more time, but it looks like every time he's throwing that two-seamer, whether he's from the stretch or the windup, he's kind of hesitating and then re-kicking his leg as he delivers. Baltricitis is the batter. The first one is a curveball cut on and miss, 0-1.
Yeah, that was some nice movement on it. But to that point, though, Chad, it looked like on that 2-strike pitch that he got to the swing and a miss, he intentionally sped up his windup and threw a two-seamer. So it might be intentional that he's doing that hitch to try to get batter's timing off.
There's the hitch. And that time he throws a curveball with it. So I don't know, maybe he can hear us out on the mound.
Well, the name I mentioned last half inning was Johnny Cueto, who you see do that now in the major leagues, who has 5 different ways to throw the same pitch with different timings that it can really throw off a hitter if you master that.
Baltricitis, 6'5", 200, Tunkhannock High School. The next one is chopped foul, third base side, 1-2, the count to Baltricitis. Base is empty. 1 out, bottom of the second, 1-0 Tellip. Games have an hour and 50-minute time limit. So we are looking at 10:50 for this game. And usually you'll get 6 or 7 innings in, although this one has had a moderate pace so far. So we should be on target for that as well, as the 1-2 is golfed up over the top. Count remains 1-2 on Baltricitis.
And that's a great piece of hitting to go down at 6'5" and reach that down low. Looked like it was under his knees, but you have to protect, expand the zone in a 2-strike count.
Well, wearing those high socks, he actually looks bigger than 6'5". The 1-2 again, golfed foul back up over the top again. And that is, you talk about pitches down and in. Left-handers love them. Right-handers not so much, especially coming from a left-handed pitcher. Right-handers are not used to that pitch coming from that first base arm slot, diving down and in towards their back foot. That is generally a blind spot for a lot of right-handed hitters. So that is some really good hitting by Baltricitis up there. Another 1-2. Off speed, swung on and missed strike 3. Seeing a lot better mixing of the pitches from Williams here in this second inning.
100%. And kind of to that point, Chad, I want to hit on that. As a right-handed hitter in high school myself, everyone thinks it's easier to see the ball out of the left hand of a pitcher. And that might be true at the major league level when you've seen a bunch of lefties. But in Little League, how many left-hand throwers do you see? You never see it. So the first couple times you see that two-seam run, it looks ridiculous. So as a right-handed hitter at this level, you don't have that experience against lefties.
The first pitch on the way to Gavin Lecoq. The breaking ball catches the inside corner knee-high for a strike, nothing in once. That's why I batted left-handed most of the time. I was a switch hitter. I mean, it's like, we're facing another righty. Fine. More power from the right side. Biggest singles hitter you ever saw from the left side.
I could never figure out how to get the ball out of the infield on that side.
The next one is up high for a ball. 1-1 the count. I mean, at the same time, I could never hit anyway. I mean, we just saw. Who did we see up there last inning that we were just talking about? We're talking about Sam Lebrecht, 6'1", 140. You always talk about, as somewhat of a negative comment, you always hear somebody say, "Well, he can't hit his weight." I couldn't hit his weight, and I was a terrible hitter.
I couldn't field. Hitting was my forte. I just could not catch the ball in the infield, which is
great defensive catcher, amazing arm, which I also blew out when I was 19. So that kind of made me realize the next one, fastball, swung on and missed for a strike. 1-2. That kind of made me realize as a defensive catcher, when you blow out both your knee and your shoulder within 4 months of each other, your career is not going to be on the field.
The days are definitely numbered after that happens.
1-2 the count to Lecoq. Long hesitation and the 1-2. Swing and a miss for a 1-2-3. Good morning, good afternoon, and good night second inning. We head to the third, 1-0 Tellip. Top half of the third inning, 1-0 Tellip on SFBN on. Looks like it's getting to be a brighter, sunnier day here in Dunmore, Pennsylvania. I think early on, I don't know what it was like for you driving up here. We were inching our way up here on the Northeast Extension. So McAllister will lead things off. Patrick McAllister is the first on the way to him. He's on the outside corner for a strike, 0-1. We were inching our way up here because coming up on the Northeast Extension, once you got north of Quakertown, it was an absolute whiteout with the fog. So next one, a good fastball cut on and missed for a strike, 0-2.
Yeah, I woke up this morning. My family has a house in the Poconos, so I stayed there this weekend to shorten the drive for myself. And there was just a nice little mist over the pond we have out front, so I definitely relate with that fog.
So next one is upstairs for a ball, 1-2. And it honestly reminds me of a game that I drove up last year against Kings, football game. It's the wind and the 1-2. Curveball called strike 3, but I thought that was going to be a little bit high. Coming out of his hand, I thought it was going to be high, but that is the second strikeout of the game. Both of them looking for Matt Martin, one down, and it brings up Will Bruner. But the fog reminded me of that, and I remember thinking, boy, we're going to play Fog Bowl 2.0 in that. So next one is a fastball that misses outside, 1-0, the count to Bruner.
I'll tell you what, though, I'm a fan of the fog rolling off the mountains in the morning. It's a beautiful drive coming through that valley.
It is absolutely gorgeous to see if you are in a nice cabin as the next pitch is outside for a ball, 2-1. I'm not a fan of driving through it.
Fair enough.
But if you are in a cabin looking out over the Poconos, it is absolutely majestic to see. The next one is upstairs for a ball, 3-0. Kind of reminds me of a postcard I saw one time traveling through North Carolina, and it said, the Great Smoky Mountains in the fog, and all it was just a gray front. The next one is outside for a ball. So it sort of is ball 4, as we're going to reset. And now Martin can throw only fastballs in the rest of this count. Granted, he hasn't thrown anything but a fastball to this point, as the next one is fouled back.
And a couple weeks ago at the first showcase that we did in East Stroudsburg, most pitchers only want 2 innings max. You see Martin getting stretched to inning number 3 here, and you're going to see that as arms start to come alive because they've got some work underneath them, going to go a little bit further in these games.
The next one is popped up, foul back behind the plate. Is that going to hit our just behind us? And I have never been so happy to have a hood on our tent or a roof on our tent.
Well, I'll tell you what, even with this tent above us, I still covered my head in preparation because I'm not trusting a nice little piece of plastic stopping a baseball coming through.
The next one, cut on and miss, strike 3. That is incredibly impressive from Martin there. 2 down. And one other thing that we're talking about is we're talking about pitchers' arms stretching out. You have to remember, most of these guys didn't even get to pitch maybe more than 1 game in a high school season before everything was shut down. So, yeah, going 2 innings, going 3 innings, that is getting stretched out as the first one. Boy, he's really letting it fly right now as the first pitch to Evan Hill is swung on and missed for a strike, 0-1.
Even if you pitched in a high school game, it was a spring game, it was probably an exhibition, you only went an inning or 2.
So next pitch is low for a ball. 1-1. We were mentioning that we had somebody from our press box ask if we were able to see the monitor. Question number 1, is it on? The next pitch is a fastball on the inside corner for a strike. Wanted to say, we look back and say, no, we can't really see the monitor. What's going on? Our fantastic producer, Josh, comes out and hits the power button.
It's that old Dad fix-it tool. Did you turn it on and turn it back off again?
Well, I guess in our case, we just never turned it on. 1-2 the count to Evan Hill. It's Martin on the verge of going 9 up, 9 down. The next one, that is a great job of shortening up the swing and pulling the hands back to even get the handle of the bat on that.
Yeah, keeping his teammates awake in that dugout as well.
Boy, that is some fantastic job of adjusting to that curveball and making contact as another 1-2. Another curveball, he can't do anything with it. 1-2-3 inning. We head to the bottom of the third, 1-0 on SFBN. Bottom half of the third inning, Tellip leading Mazzo 1-0. We've got a new pitcher on the mound for Mazzo as Eli Parmalee enters the game. Parmalee 6'6", 155 right-hander, heading into a senior year at Pennsbury High School. Nice job on the mound after a little bit of early trouble for Colin Williams, where the first two batters of the game reached. Winds up going 2 innings, striking.
And the length of your arms.
The next one is breaking ball that misses outside. Same spot, 2-0. Well, another factor in that is you look at somebody like Parmalee, especially when you are still in high school, you wonder how long he has been this tall. So finding consistent, you can see the raw talent there without any question. But there might be a little bit of a struggle to find the consistency with it. He might, again, you go through a growth spurt. As the next one is a ground ball smacked into right field for a base hit. Schmalzley was going on the play. He's going to make it around to third. Not your textbook hit and run. Hits it through the right side where you had the first baseman holding the runner on. But runners on first and third, and something brewing here with 1 out for Tellip.
Yeah, a little bit of luck there is Rickard. He wanted to pull it on the ground to second base. The second baseman's going to cover the bag. He hit a line drive towards first, but it was just far enough out of the reach of the first baseman to get through for the single.
So that'll bring up Ryan Collins. Collins struck out his first time up, showing bunt. And that'll allow the runner to take second base on the called strike on the steal by Rickard. So second and third with 1 out. Kind of the exact same situation we were in, only a batter earlier in the lineup. So we're in the first. It was 2 on and nobody out for Collins. Now it's 2 on and 1 out. The next one is down and away for a ball. 1-1, the count to Ryan Collins. Infield is back, conceding the run on the ground out. We've had a couple of runners on first base thus far in the game, and it's been interesting to see just in the handful of games. This next one is a bounder out towards third. Charging is McAllister. His throw bounces. Probably would have done better to just pocket that as Collins was going to beat it out anyway. That'll be an infield single. And they are loaded up for Levant.
Yeah, and there you mentioned pocketing it. You want to hold there. I know that there's scouts here. I know you want to impress people with your arms, but you also want to show people decision-making ability, right? I'm not going to get this guy at first. The infield's back in general. Let's just hold off. Now we have forces at every base. Got lucky that the first baseman comes off and makes a nice play there, but there's no reason for a throw in that situation.
Yeah, you can impress everybody here as Levant had a sac fly his first time up. Pitch is down and away for a ball, 1-0. You can impress everybody here with your tools from the shoulders down, but you can also impress people by making the right decisions from the shoulders up.
Well said, and believe me, I'm definitely a victim of trying to impress scouts, going above my own abilities at showcases.
Next one is lined out to second, throw back to second, double play. Smacked right on the button but a great reaction by the second baseman, Brody Traveline. He did a good job to not overreact to it. Saw that it kind of was hit sharply, but then knuckled just that tiny little bit off the bat and was able to hold his ground, pick it, throw to second, easy double play. Inning over, we head to the fourth. 1-0 Tellip. Top half of the fourth inning, 1-0 Tellip leading Mazzo. It's been 9 up, 9 down for Matt Martin. 4 strikeouts on unofficially, and I cannot stress that enough, unofficially 42 pitches. That's by me literally counting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 on my score sheet. Might have missed one here or there. The first batter will be Ryan Kimball. First pitch to Kimball, cut on and missed for a strike. 0-1, the count to Kimball. Kimball listed as an infielder, right-handed pitcher, 6'2", 215 out of Holy Ghost Prep. In the Philadelphia Catholic League, the next one is cut on and missed, strike 2. Kimball takes a step out and kind of shortens up and reaffirms his swing. Wind in the 0-2. Fastball upstairs. 1-2. You know, you, especially out of younger pitchers, you start to look for patterns. The 1-2 is a curveball, just misses the outside corner for a ball. 2-2. I haven't seen a pattern out of Matt Martin. You haven't seen, okay, when he gets to 2 strikes, he's always going to throw this. The next one takes a little bit off of it, fouled back.
Well, if you remember a couple innings ago, he got through a 3-2 count and threw a fastball. Said, I don't care that I'm going to lose this. I'm going to come right at you with it. So he's got a lot of confidence in everything he throws from whatever angle that it is in any situation. And that's rare to see from a pitcher at this young of an age.
The 2-2, called strike 3 on the off-speed pitch. That's now 4 strikeouts in a row. And 3 of his 5 punch-outs in the game are called out on strikes. 1 down. It'll bring up Ishan Hardaway.
That's just got such good late break for a curve. It's in between a curveball and a slider. That nice little slicing movement back over the heart of a plate from the inside corner of a right-hand batter.
The first pitch is upstairs for a ball to Hardaway, 1-0. And again, he's just not showing any fear in any situation. He's showing a willingness to throw any pitch in any spot. The wind and the 1-0. Fastball cut on and missed for a strike, 1-1. Hardaway, a rising junior at Council Rock North High School. Council Rock split into a couple of different high schools. Gosh, it's got to be about 12 or 13 years ago now, maybe even a little bit longer. The next one is inside for a ball. 2-1. Remember when it was just Council Rock High School? Again, dating myself here. They were always a rival in girls basketball of the high school I went to growing up. It's the next one. Fastball cut on and missed, 2-2. Always had a pretty good rivalry between Cheltenham and Council Rock. Back when Cheltenham was in the process of winning 19 straight division titles in girls basketball. Swing and a miss, strike 3. That is now 5 strikeouts in a row for Martin. 2 down, and it'll cycle the lineup to the leadoff hitter, Prieto. Was always a source of pride.
Well, Cheltenham had a good boys basketball team this year. We had a chance to cover a game for them on SFBN. They won in overtime against, I believe it was Abington.
Ah, yes. The huge rivalry against the Galloping Ghosts. That is always a massive football game. As the first pitch is up and away for a ball, 1-0. From the line, the 1-0. Fastball outside corner for a strike, 1-1. We didn't talk about football when I was in high school there. My freshman year, my first year, we're trying to get away from the use of that term. It's the 1-1. It's upstairs for a ball, 2-1. My first year of high school went 1-11.
Wow. Big turnaround in recent years, huh?
It has been. Followed it all the way to the state championship game this year. As the next pitch outside for a ball, 3-1. In fact, I very distinctly recall when they scored to take the lead against Archbishop Wood, I'm thinking, this is not good because there's too much time on the clock. The 3-1. Good fast. I mean, he located that perfectly. Outside corner, right at the knees. That's the second time at 3-1 he's thrown a fastball. So next one is outside, ball 4-ish. Again, you get to 3-2, and now it recycles to 0-2. But he can only throw fastballs as the new 0-2 is lined out into right field, and it'll get past the right fielder, Baltricitis. He's going to stop at second is Prieto. That'll be a double. Baltricitis did not get a good jump on that one. That was a ball that really it was similar to the ball that that Levant hit to end the bottom of the third inning, where it kind of knuckled at the end there. And the man at the plate right now, Trevelyan, did a good job of hanging with it to end the third inning. Baltrusitis struggled a little bit as the next one is over for a strike, 0-1. Now, it's also possibly a difference in size. Baltrusitis is 6'5" out there, so when a ball knuckles around knee level, it is tougher to get down there.
Oh, definitely. And I'm just trying to see from what angle the sun is shining towards right field. That might also play a factor in a ball hit that high.
So the next one is skied foul. Back up over the top and out of play. 0-2 the count to Trevelyan. That is the first base runner, by the way, that Matt Martin has allowed in the game. He has looked outstanding through 4 innings of work. Can he keep this a 1-0 game, however? Spin back to second.
And you mentioned 4 innings of work. When's the last time a kid's gone this long in general in the country at a non-professional level, right? This is unprecedented to be pitching this deep into a game at this point.
As time is called, and here's the one thing. I actually really like that Martin delivered that ball, because that is one of the quickest ways to get hurt, is if you truncate your delivery because time is called, and granted late. You stop that action of moving the arm forward, you're asking for rotator cuff problems, so you should always try to release anyway if you can, even if you hold on to the ball kind of like you're throwing with a towel. So next pitch is up high for a ball, 1-2 to Trevelyan.
I think that at this level especially, it shows confidence that you, no matter what, are throwing what you're throwing, regardless of an umpire calling time. It takes a lot of charisma to do that.
Runner goes for third, and in safely with the steal was Proyetto as the pitch was a breaking ball up high. It shows a really good pitch to run on. So now a runner on third.
And I think Martin, he tapped his chest to his catcher saying, my bad there, didn't really mix in his looks to keep the runner close at second.
The 2-2. Skied out into left center field. Coming over is the center fielder, Collins. One thing we've seen out of Collins, he is not afraid to take charge and cover a lot of ground out in center field for the final out of the inning. So damage averted here in the top of the fourth for Tellip. We head to the bottom half of the inning, 1-0, Tellip on top. Bottom half of the fourth inning, Parmalee remains on the mound in a 1-0 game with Tellip in front. Again, this is 9 innings or an hour 50. And right now we are at the 54-minute mark, so quite literally right at the halfway mark. And bottom of the fourth inning, we're pretty much right on schedule, as it'll be Kyle Serene, Peyton Johnson, and Jacob Baltrusitis to hit as Serene tags one out into center field, but hardly having to move is the center fielder. I believe that's Proyetto who puts it away for the first out of the inning. That ball was smoked, but right at Proyetto for the first out.
I'll tell you what, though, to hit a ball that hard, dead center, right on the nose, that usually means hits are going to start falling the next couple at bats. So that's a good sign to hit one that hard. It means just the next time up, all right, let's get a little bit more direction on it to a gap, and that's going to fall for a double.
Peyton Johnson struck out his first time up, takes one high for a ball. 1-0, and a much better swing than Serene had on his previous although he has swung at the first pitch both times, so it'll be interesting to see. Because they're charting things like that in the dugout also. It's from the stretch. The 1-0. Off the end of the bat out into center field. Proieto calling everybody off. And at the last second, reaches up and puts it away for the second out of the inning. 2 up, 2 down, and a little bit of a better start to things for this inning for Parmalee.
I'll tell you what, though, that was off the end of the bat, but how about the strength of Peyton Johnson to hit one that far in right center field?
That was one thing I noticed when he came up to the plate his first time. He definitely looks like he has already started to have the body start to fill out and kind of get himself in the right shape, as the first pitch to Baltrusitis is inside for a ball, 1-0.
Well, one of the older kids here is he's graduating, class of 2021, so he's got that 5'11", 185 frame, so he's had the time to bulk up, but that is a next-level body.
The next pitch is on the outside corner for a strike to Baltrusitis, 1-1. You want to talk about somebody who's got that next-level body. This guy right here, 6'5". And again, just maybe needs to, maybe fill out a tiny bit more, but he's got a really nice swing coming from the right side of the plate. The next pitch is a fastball up high. 2-1, the count to Baltrusitis. Base is empty. 2 down, bottom of the fourth. 1-0 Tellip atop Mazzo.
It's always difficult at this level. That size works against you because at this level, a little bit bigger of a strike zone typically, and so you have to learn to protect the plate at this size.
Next one is cut on and missed for a strike, 1-2. And one thing we're noticing about Parmalee, other than the fact that he needs a size smaller hat. That's about the 6th time that hat has fallen off.
I mean, I saw him pitch a couple weeks ago, and I saw the same thing for 2 innings straight.
Maybe drop it down to 7 1/4 there as the next one hit him. So we're going to recycle to 0-2, I believe.
Curveball got away from him there. And you are correct. It was a 2-strike count, so it does reset. Fastballs from here on out.
So nothing but fastballs from Parmalee from here on out, but the count is 0-2 now on Baltrusitis. Parmalee's delivery. Fastball down and away, 1-2. That is one thing that we've definitely had in this game, is that we actually have not had any inning, save for the top of the first inning where Serene fouled out to end the inning. We haven't had a single inning that has been ended because of too many batters. The next one is ripped foul down the left field line. Count holds at 1-2. We had 5 batters in that bottom of the first inning, but that was the only inning where either team sent 5 men to the plate. And again, the 5th batter was the 3rd out of the inning. This has been a very well-pitched game from all 3 pitchers that we've seen so far. Stretch and the 1-2. Hit him again, and on the second hit batsman, he does take his base.
Wow, it's tough enough to get hit by a pitch and have to go on first. Just one time, but twice in the same at bat. That's a tough kid, Jacob Baltrusitis, to take 2 off the back.
Maybe people are looking at the color of the uniform and thinking, "Oh, it's the Astros. We should just hit him." Anyway.
Talk about catching a break because of this whole situation, huh? The Astros this year.
Yeah, not having to play in front of any fans. The runner goes, pitches, swung on and missed. The throw to second, skips by and will go into center field. Baltrusitis on his way to third, where he'll scamper in safely. So a stolen base and then an E2. Boy, he got a massive jump on that one. And with his frame, deceptively good speed, because it wasn't just that he got a great jump. He was basically there before the ball even bounced. But he's got some wheels.
And then to come to almost a stop at second and put the wheels back, turn back on the afterburners to get the third on a ball that was right towards the center fielder, that takes a lot of quickness.
0-1 the count to Lecoq as the pitch swung on and missed. 0-2 the count to Gavin Lecoq, who struck out against Colin Williams his first time up. Scouts here from several colleges, both in the area and traveling a little bit of a distance, as the next one is outside for a ball. 1-2 the count. See shirts on from a lot of different schools, all 3 levels of NCAA competition. It's from the stretch. Parmalee with the 1-2, low for a ball. Nice stop there by the catcher, Evan Hill, new catcher in the game.
Yeah, working hard back there. And the throw down to second on that steal attempt a couple pitches ago, it looked like he got some good mustard on it, just didn't finish on top of it. And you'd know that as a catcher, whenever you just don't get that high release and finish on top of a ball.
You're basically asking to spike the ball there. The next one is low again, 3-2 now to Laco. Said maybe drop the hat size down to 7 1/4 here.
We got to see what the official hat size is.
I mean, at the same time, he's also got, and as somebody who never liked getting haircuts growing up, the next one is grounded, backhanded at short. Set throw to first. It is in time for the out, and the side is retired. Heck of a play to end the inning.
What a stretch at first base by Williams.
We'll go to the fifth, 1-0. Top half of the fifth inning, and a new pitcher into the game for Tellip. As entering the contest on the mound will be Charles Talapa, 6 foot, 160-pound rising senior at Scranton High School. So might have just walked or biked over here today. As we are up in the Pocono Mountains, up in the Scranton area, officially Dunmore, Pennsylvania, Shout Stadium. Chad Cooper alongside Chris Markowitz bringing you Baseball U action on SFBN. Really nice outing for Matt Martin. 4 innings, allowed 1 hit. That was to the 12th battery face, so he went through the first 3 2/3 perfect. No runs, no walks, 6 strikeouts, including 5 in a row between the 3rd and 4th innings. It'll be Cale Gottschalk to lead things off. First one to Gottschalk is inside for a ball, 1-0. Gottschalk struck out his first time up, and you wonder if against Talapa, maybe it'll be a little bit of a different story. Quick worker, lines one out. Field, Collins going back. That one is going to go off the wall. Played well off the wall by Collins. And it is a double for Mitrovic. Boy, and you know, we were talking about how impressed we are by Collins.
That throw?
That throw was amazing.
He caught it clean, one hop off the fence, turned and fired it almost without looking on a straight line to second base.
I'll say this right now, having watched a lot of baseball at a lot of different levels over the years, he has got some upper level skills as a defensive center fielder. The next one is outside for a ball to the now designated hitter Colin Williams, 1-0, flew out to center his first time up. He is going to make somebody very, very happy. The next one is low for a ball, 2-0. He's going to make somebody very happy at the next level and possibly beyond, again, with those skills that he's got out in center field.
Well, he's 5'10", 155, so decent size, maybe add a little muscle to the frame.
So that one bounces past Laco. Moving up to third on the wild pitch will be Mitrovic.
But to your point, Chad, it's so underrated having a confident defensive center fielder who could roam out there, call people off in the gaps. It's an area of the game that gets taken for granted.
Infield is coming in here. Tellip has just the 1-0 lead as the next one is down and in ball 4. So we will revert. See what the umpire says. Does it go to 0-2 or does it go to 0-0 here since there were no strikes on him to begin with? The next one is foul. Left field, Peyton Johnson heading towards the line, and that one will bound out of play. Get over the head of Baltricitis. Mitrovic will score. It'll be a single for Colin Williams, and we are tied up at 1-1. The stretch and the 1-1 is lined out into left field for a base hit. Stopping at second is going to be Williams. So 3 straight hits now for Mazzo have a run in and runners on first and second with only 1 out for Patrick McAllister. You know, we see a runner down at first base, and it's a little bit of a different situation now with a runner on second. He's not going to be held on.
Caught through a miss. We never even considered a lot of these aspects of sports in the past, and now you have to give so much thought to all these tiny little details. And how are we going to do this in football and basketball as well, is what I wonder. NBA starting soon. We'll have to wait on the NFL, but just so many moving parts to all of this.
The stretch and the 2-2. Outside for a ball, and it's 3-2.
And obviously at the higher levels, you have a little bit of an advantage in that there's more resources allocated to professional leagues. How do you do this at the middle school level or the high school level?
Well, and, as you look at it at the NCAA level, a lot of things that are put into place right now is the next pitch is a curveball upstairs for what is, in essence, ball 4. It'll now be an 0-2 count, and fastballs only to be thrown by Tellip here. It's a lot different of a situation if you have the resources of a University of Texas. The next one, swing and a miss, strike 3. So Tellip records his first strikeout, 2 down in the inning. It'll bring up Will Bruner, who struck out his first. Actually, no, that's the 5th batter of the inning. My apologies. And the inning comes to a close. But keeping with that point, so 1 run is across in the inning. We head to the bottom of the 5th. 1-1, but to that point, it's a lot different of a situation if you are University of Texas or Ohio State. So we have a new pitcher on the mound for Mazzo that we'll tell you about in just a moment. It's a lot different if you're one of those schools, if you are even a Westchester University, which is a large state Division II school, and also the resources between a place like a Westchester or an East Stroudsburg, again, both Division II schools that are state supported, and a small private Division III school, like as some of the Temperino rounding first, heading for second. The throw back in is not in time. It'll be a double for Temperino. Yeah, and that he just crept inside that third base line. back towards the wall. Coming in to score is Temperino. Schmalzli is 3 for 3. He has scored a run. He has driven in a run. He's stolen 2 bases. He's going to drive the team bus back to the hotel. And it is 2-1 Tellip.
What a game for Schmalzli.
And he's made a couple of nice picks at short also. Especially in that first inning. He had a very nice pick out at short, and he's taken off on the first pitch. Throw to second is high. Wouldn't have mattered anyway. That pitch could have been perfectly on the money. 3 for 3, 3 steals, RBI, runs scored.
And he's only going to be a junior.
And again, it's important to note it's one game. But what is interesting to note, it's one game against 3 different pitchers that he has seen. Because he's gotten his hits in the first, third, and the second baseman and into center field for a base hit. Second hit of the day for Rickert. Coming in to score is Schmalzli, and it is 3-1 Tellip. That one is bounded back through the middle for a base hit. Second hit for Collins on the day. Stomping at second is Rickert.
Yeah, I was very close. I didn't really see a clear point that he stopped his movement with his glove and came set there, so might have gotten away with one.
I've seen that a couple of times from him today as well. That he doesn't necessarily fully stop. As Levant stands in, my apologies, is the first on the way to Levant. Gets through the catcher, and the runners will advance on the wild pitch. Rickert to third. Collins to second, and Levant will be the last hitter of the inning. He is the 5th batter.
And Levant with a single here could drive into. That could really put this game very far out of reach given the 5-batter limit for things moving forward for both teams.
The Sure, and again, it might have just been, and the ball hits the runner back and not tagged out. So that's going to be your typical, well, first of all, the run comes in to score, and it's 4-1. That is going to be your classic 1, 2, 6, 2. No outfielder's choice. We head to the top of the 6th, 4-1 on SFBN. Top of the 6th inning. Scoreboard says 3-1. We have 4-1. Either way, Tellip is on top. So we got a new pitcher on the mound as Casey Serene will move from first base to pitcher. In to score, even though that was the 5th and final batter of the inning, is the first on. Four innings, 1 hit, went through the first 11 batters in order. No runs, no walks, and 6 strikeouts for Martin. The next one bounces up for a ball. 2-1. If you're looking for a player of the game for Tellip, you've got a couple of options right here. Matt Martin, we just read his line. But you've got the leadoff hitter, Schmalzley, who's 3 for 3 with 2 runs scored, an RBI, and 3 steals. The next one is high for a ball, 3-1. Great job to leap out of the crouch there by Laco. But then you've also got the center fielder Ryan Collins, who's 2 for 2 or 2 for 3, and has made several. Back, count remains 1-2.
That happens every now and then in these showcases. And I'll tell you what, when I saw, I forget who hit it, but there was a double, and he was playing defensively in the middle infield. he went behind a runner to try to tag him on a throw coming in from the outfield. And I was like, wait, why are there 2 runners at second base right now? That's the defensive player trying to make the tag. Okay, that makes sense.
Reno calls for it and puts it away for the first out of the inning. 1 down, and it'll bring up Evan Hill, who struck out his first time up. So 1 inning of work for Tellip. You know, that seems to be a common theme among these pitchers. That is a very heavy fastball. You know, it's not, and we mentioned it earlier.
Think that there's a huge difference between a 162 game season and then the playoffs. So a lot of people will use the argument of, well, you know, the Oakland A's, for example, all that sabermetric stuff. Did they ever win a playoff series? Did they ever win a World Series? No. But if you understand that there's a big difference between 162 and a 7-game series, and you could do what the Yankees or Red Sox do, which is say, okay, we will plan for both, you know, getting through a 162 game series, but then we'll have guys in our lineup and pitchers in our rotation who then have the psychological advantages in shortened series to win in those playoff situations. It's balancing those two. It's balancing the old school and the new school. The teams that win in the playoffs now, they hit home runs in the regular season, but they also hit to the gaps with 2 outs. They can bunt. They can move runners over. So it's balancing the old school with the new school as the game evolves.
And you could not have said it any better. It is that balance. It is finding that middle ground. You know, and I'll give you a great example of, you know, if you are too far one way or the other, why it doesn't necessarily work. You look at Gabe Kapler, know, who is all analytics, all take pitches, all, it's about exit velocity, it's about launch angle, it's about everything. It is nothing but analytics. He had 2 years and wound up going 161 and 163. And yes, he's out in San Francisco and has a chance to improve upon that. And a lot of guys in their first opportunity as a manager don't do that great. So remember, Terry Francona was the manager of the Phillies. How'd that go?
I don't think a lot of people remember that.
Unfortunately, I do. And unfortunately, also Scott Rowland did, because that kind of tempered the early portions of his career. So Aiden DeLucy is going to come up and pinch hit to lead things off here for the designated hitter, Kyle Serene. A lot of people forget, because he was the manager that broke the curse for the Cubs. Joe Madden managed the Rays for for spring training, but they were leasing the team to the Rays, the minor league, the Florida State League franchise, to the Rays, because Tampa wanted a team that was closer to the third baseman and throw to first in time for the out. A beautiful play there out at third base by Sam Lebrecht for the second out of the inning. But that was always kind of the joke, was that, well, 2 strikeouts in the inning for Moyer, and the inning comes to a close. We head to the 7th. 4-1, Tellip.
Finger, you really released it out in front, and to your point, that spin rate, that great rotation keeps it elevated in the strike zone.
Prieto stands in. He looks at a strike. 0-1 the count to Vincent Prieto.
Whenever you go up in the zone, especially in an 0-2 count, you have to be careful. You have to miss intentionally above the letters, because whenever you leave one middle up, that's danger zone for a lot of hitters.
The next one is upstairs for a ball. Oh. Prieto's played a pretty good game out in center field today also. Rising junior at Sun Valley High School in Aston, Pennsylvania. The next pitch is upstairs for a ball. 2-1. It's right down the road from where I came up from today. Came up from the Chester area. It's from the windup, the 2-1. Fastball outside corner for a strike. 2-2. And not the uncommon sight just off to our right. Somebody holding up a radar gun. That's what these showcases are all about. The 2-2. Swing and a miss, strike 3. And when I say that, I don't necessarily mean velocity, but seeing what guys can do.
Right.
Seeing what they can do, seeing where they can go, seeing how they can project. If he is throwing this at this age, he has this body type. How can he move forward?
Oh, of course, but it's also all of it in context, right? You're seeing the movement as well. If a guy's throwing hard or not hard, all right, like how fast, for example, if he's got great two-seam run, can I live with a pitcher who throws 79-90 or 79-80, excuse me, as a sophomore, but he's got great movement on it, and I'll stick with him? I don't need him to throw 95 to 100 if he's got great movement on his fastball.
The 0-1 to Traveline is up high for a ball. 1-1. Traveline is grounded out and flied out to center. And for this one, I think you kind of have to give co-players of the game. As much as we have raved about Ryan Collins in center field as the next one is over for a strike, I think you have to give co-players of the game to the second baseman, T.J. Schmalzy, 3 for 3, runs scored and an RBI, and also the starting pitcher for Tellip, Matt Martin. Both of them really impressed today. And especially for Martin, Schmalzy will have another chance tomorrow as the next one is bounded out towards second. Say his name, it goes right to him, and it goes right by the first baseman. I did not see, did the first baseman drop that, or was it a low throw?
It was a low throw.
Well, now we know the player of the game is going to be Matt Martin.
I was just about to say. A little bit of a jinx there. Almost a perfect afternoon for Schmalzy, but
that's the thing. He'll get another chance tomorrow.
Right.
He'll have another chance. For Martin, as a starting pitcher, what he showed today is the only opportunity that he was going to have to be able to impress people. As the first pitch to Gottschalk is cut on and missed for a strike, 0-1. And impress he did.
And I'll say, too, for a starting pitcher, for us to still, 3 innings after the fact, be talking about what he did and remember it so fondly, he really left his mark on this game.
First pitch, or the next pitch, is swung on and missed, strike 2. Serene's throwing some nice action out there as well, coming on in relief last inning. From the stretch, the 0-2, runner goes, pitches upstairs for a ball, throw to second. They got him. 2-6 as the shortstop came across to nab that one. Let's see if they come back out. I mean, it is 4-1, and we only have 5 minutes left on the time limit. It does look, however, like Mazzo is going to come back out. The umpires are kind of playing rock, paper, scissors to see, well, are we going to go or are we not? Are we going to go? And it looks like we are going to go out for one more inning.
Last licks, baby. You got to get your swings in today.
And coming out to the mound, that'll be Ryan Kimball. And it gives the bottom part of the order their third at-bats of the day. It's going to give Laco a third at-bat. It's going to give Temperino a second at-bat. It's going to give Schmalzy a fourth at-bat.
And it's also going to give Kimball a chance to throw some pitches today when he might not usually get the opportunity. So you get a chance to squeeze him in, get a bullpen in with some live action. So an opportunity for this young man as well to see some live hitters as he tries to get some over the plate and figure out how his breaking ball is moving, where to spot fastballs. So in a showcase atmosphere, it's just about getting these guys the experience that they need.
Definitely starting to warm up on the day, not just from what we can feel, but you look out in left center field, you kind of got that little wavy haze going on out there in left center field because, again, in case you could not tell, this is a turf field. It's going to absorb all of that heat.
Well, and that's the thing about being here, whereas watching a lot of games, whether it be football, soccer, or baseball from home, you can see the heat literally coming off the turf when you're here in person. Literally, seeing heat waves. So it gets brutal, especially in the summertime. But these kids, to their credit, they're here to play, and they're hungry for some baseball and a chance to prove themselves out in front of scouts in this atmosphere.
You got 3 more games coming your way today. Our next game, which is scheduled for 11:15, might be a little bit behind on that one, will be Lindsay versus Guy. And again, these teams the names come out of the names of the head coaches of the teams. Laco will stand in, strike out and a ground out thus far. He's had a nice game as a catcher and ended the last inning with that good strong throw to second. The first one is fouled back, 0-1, the count to Gavin Laco. from the stretch. Kimball's 0-1. Bounces for a ball, and it's 1-1. Kind of get into that lull point in the game, the inning that you didn't necessarily expect, the half inning that you didn't necessarily expect to be played.
Right.
But that you absolutely understand why. So the next pitch is a curveball, misses inside, 2-1.
One for LeCaux right now, 0 for 2 on a day. Just looking for an opportunity to show what he could do. Put one in a gap, get a double, get some people excited.
I mean, even just to put a good swing on the ball. That's as big as anything, as the next one is. Or honestly, to do what he's doing right now. A lot of guys, especially in a showcase setting where they want to show off what they can do. We talked about how, and everybody wants to show what they can do from the shoulders down, but it's also important to understand what you need to do from the shoulders up. That one bounces up for a ball. A lot of guys who are 0-2 might be looking, to chase pitches. I got to make contact. I got to get a hit. I got to do this or that. To his credit, he has taken the pitches that he needs to. He's waded through some pretty bad pitches. The 0-1 on the outside corner for a strike.
To your point, I think plate discipline is one of the most underrated skill sets that there is in baseball. I don't care how far you can hit a ball. Well, how do you react in an 0-0 count, a 1-0 count, an 0-1 count? What's your approach to all these different facets of the game?
So next one bounces up, 1-2. Well, not just that, but also to be able to see that plate discipline early on out of a younger player. You look at Gavin LeCaux, he's a 2022, so he's a rising junior. The 1-2. Chased one a little bit high, but I mean, when you consider the number of pitches that he has seen and a lot of breaking balls out of Kimball, he gets a fastball. Yeah, it's a little bit elevated, maybe a little bit out of the zone, but not a terrible pitch to swing at.
I agree with you. That's a good pitch to foul off there. You're not sure if it's going to be that breaking ball dropping back in, so you got to react to it.
The next one spikes the plate, 2-2. The other facet of that is you also don't know if that was going to be called strike 3. You've got 2 strikes on you, so yeah, it's a good job of protecting as well. Two misses outside, and we're at our second 3-ball count of the at-bat. Kimball working from the stretch. The 3-2. Swinging and a miss, strike 3. Hits the dirt. So Gottschalk has to throw on to first. And does. K2-3 officially on the out. 1 away. I'm going to bring up Temperino.
And it looked like that ball kind of died out at the end there. Not a lot of spin on the fastball, so fooled LeCaux as he went chasing for it in the dirt.
Temperino doubled, sneaking the ball inside the third base line his first time up. He smacks that one down the right field line, slicing, and it will go out of play. 0-1, the count to Temperino. 4-1. Tellip on top, and this will be the last half inning, as we are actually 2 minutes past our hour 50 time limit. Our next 2 teams, Lindsay and Guy, are already warming up down each line. So we should be relatively quickly into game 2. So next one is cut on and missed. Not sure if that was a slider or a changeup.
Good off-speed pitch nonetheless.
It had a little bit of a tail down and away to it, but it didn't have the traditional sharp sliding break. Fooled the hitter as it's 0-2. That one is taken out into right center field. Moving over on it is the right fielder for the second out of the inning. 2 down. And it'll bring up Schmalzley. No, it won't. It'll bring up DeLacy. DeLacy, who had previously pinch hit for Kyle Serene, is going to hit in this situation, and that'll ensure that everybody for Tellip has at least 2 plate appearances on the day. Because DeLacy came in as a pinch hitter last inning. First pitch is a fastball upstairs. 1-0 to DeLucy. Excuse me, not DeLacy, DeLucy. Aiden DeLucy.
And on deck, if he happens to reach, will be the man he pinch hit for, Kyle Serene. So interesting how that works out, you know. Obviously showcase, so the traditional rules out the window here this afternoon.
The next one is down and away for a ball.
And let me correct myself, I say afternoon. It's only 10:53 in the morning, so we'll be here.
We've both been here a while.
It's around the clock for us today, Chad.
The next one is cranked out into center field. We're right there on it. It's going to be Proyetto, and that will end, I would assume, will end the ball game.
And just sitting tight. Obviously, no official word yet. But
I think I saw the umpire put his hand up, and yeah, the two teams are clearing out of the dugouts. So that is going to end game one of our day, with Tellip coming away with a 4-1 victory against Mazzo. We will step aside and come back a little bit later on. Again, game two between Lindsay and Guy, scheduled for 11:15.